Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve G, and what we have this time is the Karaku AS Super Gyuto 210mm knife. So this knife is an all-reactive blade. It's 3-layer construction, so the core cutting-edge steel, you can see that peeking out from the cladding right here. That is AS Blue Paper Super reactive high-carbon steel. Heat treats typically about 62, 63 Rockwell on that. It's an excellent kitchen cutlery steel. It holds an edge really well. It's really pretty easy to sharpen. If you've got decent sharpening stones, it cut pretty good. And again, it's got nice edge retention. The cladding is also reactive. It is a soft iron cladding on either side of that core steel. And the cladding does have what's known as a Kudauchi or blacksmith finish on it. And this also has a food-safe lacquer over the entire blade. So it's shiny. As it wears off over time, it will get more dull and show the true, cladding and stuff underneath. But out of the box, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 on my sharpening scale just because the lacquer can extend down to that edge. So you'll want to either maybe strop it, or I would just give it a full-on sharpening out of the box and just get that lacquer off that edge. Then you'll get a true sense of what the edge does. So definitely I would look to do that. I guess let's just get our beauty shot as long as it's here. And that looks pretty good. Let's see. Weight's 167 grams or 5.9 ounces for this one. It can vary a little bit from knife to knife. Handle is octagonal, ambidextrous oak, solid piece of oak with what's known as an uruchi or burnt finish on it, kind of a gradual burnt finish and then sanding down. They've done a real nice job of sealing up the tang where it goes into the handle, so nicely done there, especially since it's an all-reactive blade. My opinion, they could use a little more gap there. There's not a lot of good spot for your finger on the pinch grip, but that handle's fairly heavy. This blade is a little bit bigger than the bunka I just did, so that's going to bring the balance point forward. So the balance point's right about there on this one. For me, that's pretty darn close to a pinch grip for my pinch grip, so that's going to be very neutral feeling. Makes the knife feel a little bit lighter than it is, although it's not heavy. Again, not much of a curve there, but you got a little bit of a spot for your finger. Height is 47.4, so you're going to have at the heel, so you're going to have plenty of clearance there for your fingers on the cutting board. Speaking of dimensions, let's take a look. The edge is 212 millimeters, 8.35 inches from the tip to the back of the heel, so that's your usable cutting edge. Overall length, about 350 millimeters from the tip to the end of the handle, or 13.8 inches. These have a little bit of thickness, especially coming out of the handle. They're not super thin, so it's got some stiffness to it. I got about 3.3 millimeters thick at the spine at the back of the heel coming out of the handle, and then about 2.3-ish as we kind of work our way down. There's not a lot of taper to this at all. You can see the grind here is not real high up on the knife, so not a lot of space to work with to thin it out. It gets a little thinner right at the tip, but it's not a skinny mini tip. So that tip it's robust, but you'll sacrifice a little bit of performance for it, but it should go through things pretty well. It's not going to ghost through stuff like a laser, but you can see the same thing for the edge. It does thin out decently at the edge, but it gains thickness pretty quick. So this might show a little bit of wedging. However, it will have probably pretty good food release on it and separation, definitely, given the geometry of the blade. Let's see a little closer. If we look, we'll see it has some embossed kanji and symbols on the left side or the right side of the blade. Here's your lacquer there being the shiny part, and then underneath that's your Kudauchi finish. There's your it looks kind of a sandblasted blade road down towards the edge core steel there. Then here's the left side of the blade. Again, some embossed kanji there. Every knife's going to be a little bit unique. You can see some hammering, some characteristics to it. Pretty nice fit and finish. They've got a little bit of relief to the corners of the spine. They've done a little bit of work on the choil, so it's not sharp or anything. Again, out of the box edge, I'm just going to do 5 out of 10. I'd probably sharpen it, get that lacquer off the edge, and put a little bit nicer edge on it as well. Let's look at the cutting board profile. Alright, so you can see that tip's fairly low, not a ton of belly towards the tip. This particular one has a couple of points on it that are kind of fulcrum points, so it's got a bit of a high spot right here. So you can see kind of rocks on that. Then it's got another one like right in there. So it's not like a super smooth roll. So you got a bump, bump, bump. So bump, bump, and then the back. It is pretty flat towards the heel, so a lot of good spot for chopping. It digs in the tip pretty quick, like right in there. You could resharpen this as you sharpen it and take the last couple millimeters and maybe upsweep it just a little bit and give yourself a little bit more elbow room, but right as out of the box, right in there. So you're going to go over short stuff, but not anything really tall. And again, this one's got a couple of glitches in the profile, but probably plenty of flat, especially if you were to take that out, you'd have a nice flat spot in the back half. So tip draws would be great because you don't have to lift the handle very high, and then chopping towards the back half, no problem. So this is just a great knife if you want to like learn how to sharpen on it. It's got a kind of a flattish profile to it. Easy to use Aogami Super. Easy to sharpen. Get some decent stones. Holds a really nice edge. And so just a cool package. So this is the Karaku Aogami Super Gyuto 210mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.